Hi guys, this is Mrs. Chang. Today we're going to be looking at how do we read an article and be able to understand the important information from it. I know in a lot of your courses right now you are going to be doing a lot of reading and it can be hard sometimes without some help. So I'm going to give you some tips and some ideas on how you can read, understanding what you're looking for and how to get the ideas. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the two different documents you're going to be using. This is the actual article. It's 2 pages long, so not crazy long. And this is the template that we're going to use to help us with recording our ideas. So let's look at the template first. This is asking us what we're going to do before we start to read the article. So when I look at a new article, the first thing I do is ask myself, why am I reading this? And for this purpose, we're looking at why is GPS or global positioning systems important to Canada? How is it helping us? How is it making a difference? So since we're learning about earthquakes, we're going to be looking at how GPS is working with earthquakes to make the world a better place. The other thing I'm going to do is look at the headline. So the headline here says, Earthquake Sensor Network aims to give BC, which is British Columbia, crucial seconds to prepare for the big one. So the things I'm going to think about while reading this is what are the ideas or questions I have from this headline. So a couple things. One is I'm going to ask myself, what the heck is the big one? Now, if you're working on a Google Doc and you want to, you can actually make a comment to remind yourself of what you're thinking. I like doing this because it helps me stay engaged when I'm reading. If I don't do that, I end up zoning out, thinking about Netflix, thinking about what I'm going to have for dinner, thinking about how my siblings are making so much noise in the background. But if I'm writing as I'm reading, it's going to help me think about those ideas. So when I look at this headline, I'm like, what's the big one? And looking at the fact that you get only seconds to prepare. So when I think of that, I'm like, wow, how are seconds of time going to help anyone? I mean, really, come on. Is a couple seconds really enough to make a difference in terms of being further? After I do that, I'm going to go to my template here, and if I don't want to record my ideas here as I'm reading, if you don't have a Google Doc that makes it really easy, you can also do it right here on this document. So when I say, what is the purpose of the article? I can write in, the purpose of the article is, we are trying to understand how GPS, which is global positioning, help solve problems like preparing for earthquakes. Okay, what ideas did I get from the headline? Well, here's where I could take those ideas from my comments if I wanted to, and I could put them into my template there. If I didn't want to make comments, I could write the same thing right here. So how are seconds of time going to help anyone? What is the big one? So again, it's really up to you how you want to record your ideas as you're reading. Okay? Awesome. Does the picture give us any clues? So when I look at the picture here, what does that look like to you? I'm pausing to give you a chance to actually think about it. In your head, what does it look like? To me, when I first saw it, it looked like something that looks like a piece of garbage in my husband's garage. But you're seeing it looks like a piece of equipment. We can tell it's underwater. Maybe it's expensive, but these are all ideas we're getting from the picture. Now I'm actually going to start to read. So I'm going to read it out loud for you guys. And at any point, if you want to pause the video and you think you found something before I say it out loud, please, this is a great opportunity for you to practice your ideas. Can you think about, as we're reading, who are the important people or groups involved in this issue? What is happening that is really important? Where is it happening? Why is this happening? And why do we consider this important information? So again, who, what's happening, where, and why. Those 5 W's really help us when we're thinking about summarizing an idea. So here we go. Let's read. Ocean Networks Canada has installed the final set of underwater earthquake early warning sensors off the west coast. The system would enable a warning of 20 seconds to 2 minutes in the event of a significant earthquake. This is written by Ocean Networks Canada. A network of 8 underwater sensors and 32 land-based seismic and GPS sensors on Vancouver Island is up and running and could make all the difference when an earthquake hits. So I'm going to stop naturally now because I've already read 2 paragraphs. And if I keep reading without thinking about it, at the end of the article, I'm going to realize I haven't really gained any information. So instead, what I'm going to do is ask myself, are there any vocabulary words that are a little bit more challenging? For most students, this word is a little bit hard, seismic. So what I'm going to do is go to Tools on your Google Docs, and there actually is a dictionary right there for you. So if you didn't know that, this is something you can use for all of your courses if you have a Google Doc. And you put that there and it tells us it's relating to earthquakes or other vibrations of the earth. Some students even like to copy the definition, put it into a comment, and now they have it on file for themselves if they go back to the article. It's there to remind them of their vocabulary. So we know so far that Ocean Networks Canada is installing these underwater earthquake warning sensors. Okay, they're giving about 20 seconds to 2 minutes of a warning. Where would that fall in our information summary? I'm pausing to give you a chance to think about it. Where would we put the information? Okay, I agree if you said this, that Ocean Networks Canada is the name of the organization. Okay, they're the ones that are actually creating the warning systems. And these systems give us about 20 seconds to 2 minutes of warning. I'm including this piece of information because I think the fact that you only get 20 seconds of warning is significant, right? I mean, if you got like an hour of warning before an earthquake, that would really help things. But right now, science can only give us about 20 seconds to 2 minutes. And that's a huge improvement from before where we had no warning whatsoever. So this is really helpful. Where is it happening? Well, let's take a look. It says right now they've set up this test run on Vancouver Island. Notice it's Vancouver Island, not Vancouver, because we know Vancouver is actually on the mainland and Vancouver Island is where Victoria and other cities are located. So we'll write that here. Where is it happening? Vancouver Island is test running this idea. Okay, so they're the ones testing out these GPS systems. Why is this happening in British Columbia, of all the provinces? Why do you think British Columbia would be a targeted area? Yeah, because British Columbia has a lot of earthquakes. In fact, they get an earthquake every single day, even though it's too small sometimes, most of the time, to feel. This is because they are near 2 converging boundaries. Now, this information I'm not actually getting from the article. I'm using our past knowledge from the course to explain why it's happening, because we're connecting ideas throughout the entire course. Over here, I'm going to continue reading. It's part of Ocean Networks Canada's early warning system for southwestern British Columbia. The research group from the University of Victoria was awarded $5 million for the venture. The system will estimate how powerful an earthquake is and issue a warning to a network of alarms across British Columbia, indicating how much time before the destructive shock waves hit. Earthquake simulation. So here's another word that maybe you're not sure of. So again, if you ever need a word you don't know, Tools, Dictionary, and there you go. It tells us that it's an imitation of a process. So in other words, it's like a practice run or to show what could happen. So simulation shows us what happens if there is an earthquake. The system was put in test recently in a Canada Line control room. It simulated a 7.8 magnitude earthquake. Staff had 38 seconds to prepare. So again, we're not getting a lot of time when it comes to earthquake warnings, right? Only 20 seconds to 2 minutes, and yet is that enough to make a difference? So I'm going to stop the lesson here and give you a couple things to think about. 1, can you add this last part yourself? Why is this new system so important? We keep talking about 20 seconds or 38 seconds, but really what on earth can happen in 38 seconds? If you read the rest of this article yourself, there are a few ideas about what can actually be done to help people in those 20-something or 30-something seconds. Once you have the ideas of what can be done, add it to your own document, okay? And you should have something that looks like this at the end in your personal document, including your own ideas for this part. You're going to submit that into the Google Classroom for today's